All right. Shalawama, Shalawama. I'm Dr. Yasapa. I'm back. All right. This is the Gospels and the Zodiac, the secret truth about JC, the Christ figure. All right. This is episode number 5 in our series on Taurus. Okay. So y'all see I'm on StreamYard right now. So hopefully we get it better than what I'm getting on the other platform. Let me check the signal. Y'all give me 1 second, all right? All right. So like and share the video. Let me try to do whatever I can do. Give me a second, y'all, if I can do anything to make sure that someone told me that the last one that I did went blank. So let me see if I can check the settings or do something so that this stream is not interfered with. All right. So I noticed this a couple of subscribers have I guess unsubscribed, which is okay. This is not for everybody. This might be some really bitter medicine for some people. In which case it's okay, right? It might take some people a couple years, 2-3 years to be able to get over the cognitive dissonance. All right, so yeah, the stream was good. All right, y'all. So since I'm on StreamYard, I think I'll be able to better deal with comments, etc. So we're on page 76. So y'all make sure. Where are we? Yeah, 76. Y'all make sure y'all put some comments in here. All right. Like and share the video and tell people we're here. Post this on your Instagram, social media, and all of that good stuff. All right. And also, if you know some other platforms besides YouTube that I could start streaming live from, y'all let me know, because I'm tired of YouTube. We should have many, many, many more subscribers, but of course, they are shadow banning Zion Law School and DrYasapa. Anyway, let's get started, y'all. Here we go. All right. Page 76. This is Taurus. In the Jewish scriptures, we observe that the quote-unquote flesh pots of Egypt, this is in Exodus 16, verse 3, are a perpetual source of temptation to the newly freed Israelites. Their spiritual resolve is weakened by the quote, sweet delights, end quotes, of Taurus, for which Egypt is the biblical symbol. So now let's read the footnote. According to Philo of Alexandria, Egypt symbolizes, quote, the passions which excite the body. This is Philo, page 147. Now remember, Taurus is symbolic of the coming together. That is the order out of destruction, the destruction that came from Capricorn and Aquarius, all right? All right, that is the total annihilation and destruction of the corporate systems that existed before it, all of the means and mechanisms and ends of oppression, all right? It continues, but for all that their bellies were full when they lived there. So they had plenty to eat in Egypt. They were in bondage, just like y'all in the U.S. Y'all got plenty to eat, but it's not food. You got plenty of genetically engineered products to eat, but it's not food, and it's certainly not nutritious. Okay? Everything from what? Fake meat. They got y'all eating pork. You know, I don't know if anybody has ever had this discussion, but think about this. Think about this. The pork that you eat, if you've ever seen a pig, the type of pig that people eat in the States, if you've ever seen it, they are pink with blue eyes. They eat anything. They like to eat dead things, and they roll around in the mud. Now, why do y'all think they roll around in the mud and they like to keep mud on them? Well, you guessed it, because the mud blocks the sun from burning their skin. Now, since when does a terrestrial or a land animal not have melanin? Now, I can understand, and you would expect, that a creature that lives in the deep, deep ocean where sunlight does not penetrate, that creature, you would expect for it to not have melanin. That means you would expect it to have a pink or whitish type of skin tone, right? Yes, you would expect that. But for a land animal to not have melanin, for it to have pink skin, well, you should know that that's unnatural, and you should know right away that what? That the pig is a hybrid. That's why you shouldn't eat it. That's why you should not eat a pig. It is a hybrid. In addition to the fact that it's a scavenger, etc., 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 etc. All right. But anyway, that's on another topic. All right. So we see a parallel with the ancient House of Yasharala with the modern day House of Yasharala right now. Not just in North America, actually, but all over the world. All over the world. Let's continue. But for all that their bellies were full when they lived there, they were in bondage, but well fed. Garbage. Well fed with garbage that would kill them and kill you too. The peculiarity, seductive bondage of materialism, which this passage in Mark warns us to break away from. Y'all got that? You can relate this to Malcolm X with his house nigga and the field nigga. What better clothes do we got than this? What better food can we get than this? What better accommodations can we get than this? All right. This is what the author is referring to, and that's how we have experienced it in our culture. So let's continue. As Fred Gettings reminds us, Taurus, quote, is always productive. This is Gettings, the year 1972, page 39. But if this productivity is seen entirely in terms of dividends, shares, bank accounts, and bull markets, then the spiritual journey will be cut short before it really begun. What's the problem with this, scholars? Can you see the problem with this? What is the problem with this? Here's the problem. Let me read it for you. But if this productivity of Taurus is seen entirely in terms of dividends, dividends is corporations. It's not nature. Shares are corporations, shares of stocks. Bank accounts and bull markets. These things that he's talking about, they're not ancient, they're new. So why would you evaluate something ancient with things that are new, that are not ancient? You cannot. Y'all see that? Time frames don't work. They don't match up. So we need to evaluate productivity by some ancient measure, not by corporate measures. Y'all got that? You see the point? You see the point, scholars? But if this productivity is seen entirely in terms of dividends, shares, bank accounts, and bull markets, then the spiritual journey. Okay, so since these measures of productivity are invalid, what do we do about this thing that he's calling a spiritual journey? It says here, then the spiritual journey will be cut short before it has really begun. So this is an if-then statement. But does the logic square up, y'all? Measuring the productivity of Taurus. Taurus is said to always be productive. So if Taurus is always productive, how then do we measure the productivity? By what measurements? It has to be something in nature. So we can scrap this spiritual journey. This is a play on words. And by the way, speaking of spiritual, I was reading in a book before I went live, and I think I might start doing videos on this book after this book. I might do the Devil's Pulpit again. I'm not sure. There's so much stuff I can do. I have so many good books that I could bring to you guys on astrotheology and astrology. There's so much to do with this. Okay, so much to do with it. But anyway, I was reading a book, and it was talking about how Christianity did not overtake the world. Christianity assimilated itself into paganism. There's a big difference. So since Christianity became pagan, that's how it was accepted. It was not through some type of spiritual whatever and all of this warfare. That was a part of it. The warfare was a part of it. But Christianity just adopted pagan doctrines. All right, that's how it came to be what it is, or a large part, or one of the primary mechanisms, let me put it like that. But that's not the point I want to say. But in this book, it was talking about how JC, the name JC and Iesus, JC in Greek or Latin, it's a charm. It's actually a charm. And the author went through an explanation of it. I might present it. I'm not sure if I'll present it, but I might present it. But it's something y'all can start doing research on. That's right. The name itself is a charm. According to the author, that name influences the demons to do whatever it is that the person who's using it as a charm wants them to do. Now, isn't that something? All right, I'm checking for comments, y'all. All right, I don't see any comments yet. Now, isn't that something? Okay. And of course, the Christian pastors, mores, and other religions who are using that name, they're using it as a charm. And behind closed doors, as I've said before, they're doing rituals. And these rituals are to give them omnipotent power over you, your woman, your daughter, your son, and your wallet. All right? Now, if you don't believe me, you start researching this on your own. Furthermore, you start researching about Christ, JC the Christ figure, using a magic wand. That's right, there are ancient images, Christian images of JC using a magic wand. Why does he need a magic wand? Why did he use a magic wand to perform his so-called miracles? But anyway, that's neither here or there. Y'all check into this. I just thought I would bring that to your attention. I might present this information, if not sooner than later. I've got a lot of work to do with the astrology and the astrotheology. All right, y'all. Put something in the comment section, like and share the video, please. If you've been here for more than 5 minutes, like and share the video. Make this easy for me, y'all. Y'all know this is a lot of work. I got a tremendously busy schedule. So y'all help me, all right? Y'all help me. Let's make it do what it do. Let's continue. All right, let's make this thing whistle. All right. Dan Rudher considers that the spiritual lesson of the Taurus phase is non-possessiveness because, quote, where there is possessiveness, there can be no spiritual living. He goes on. Now, wait a minute. I don't know what he means by possessiveness. Does he mean ownership? Is he saying that there should be no ownership? Is that what he means? Well, let's continue. Wait a minute. Before we continue, I just had another thought. So in this same book, y'all, in the same book, it's talking about how lying, bringing up the Apostle Paul, you know how he said to the Jew, he became a Jew, and to this person, he became this and that, so that he might be all things to all people. Well, the author goes into a non-doctrinal academic discussion about how church fathers or the great people in Christianity have used lies. And it's okay, in their point of view, to lie and deceive, to push the agenda of the church. What does that mean? That's a very soft way of saying it's okay to lie to get you to join their church and to get you to support financially whatever it is that they want you to do. They can lie and deceive you. All right? Anyway, I got that off my chest. I hope y'all understand that. How do we see this in law? We see it in law through what? Legal ease. Remember, the legal system is based upon the Judeo-Christian the Judeo-Christian books. All right? And Christianity says you can lie. Straight out of the Apostle Paul's mouth. He lied and he deceived people. Now, you can let some preacher finesse you into thinking, sweet talk you into thinking that he meant something else. All right? But he openly says that he deceived people and he lied to them to push the agenda of the church. All right? So they lie and deceive with their statutes and with their what? Legal ease to push the agenda of the nation state that is the property of the Catholic Church. Y'all got that? This is why the Jews also lie. Now, according to that book, they said that the ancient Egyptians were lying. And in their mindset, it was okay to lie to push the agenda of their religion. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. And that's where the Jews got it from. I did not say the House of Yasharala. The Jews. That's why you'll find it in their tradition, the Talmud. You can lie and deceive the heathen. Right? Furthermore, there is a maxim of law that says, now this is coming out of the Roman law. If somebody is so foolish enough to be deceived, then you deceive them. It's okay. Right? Because being deceived is a choice. You failed to do the what? The due diligence, the research. So, in other words, if you're irresponsible or if you're lazy, well, you got it coming. Y'all see this? Okay. Let's continue. All right. So let's get back to this person's quote. This guy goes on to say, the zodiacal sign Taurus is traditionally thought to be a possessive sign, but its possessiveness arises from its concentration upon productivity. Now, why are they using this terminology? Productivity. Isn't that also a what? Industrial or corporate term? We need to change this language. Would you scholars agree? We need to change the language. In order to produce a rich harvest, limits have to be set to the field in which natural processes have to operate efficiently. Another industrial term, efficiency. I disagree with the whole premise. You do not have to maximize the efficiency of agriculture or the harvest. There's no need to do that unless what? Unless your aim is to maximize profit, right? Why would you need to maximize the profit if everybody's got their own land? Y'all see this? Everybody's got their own inheritance. They've got their own land. So why do you need to maximize the harvest of your land and sell it to who? Y'all see the point? So this author is looking at this from an industrial or a corporate point of view, and we need to switch that. It's not about the maximization of profit. See, some of y'all may not know that right now we're living in an age of extreme profiteering. Unprecedented. Unprecedented. But this is his paradigm. So what I'm saying to you is that his model, his paradigm, his analysis is totally off, completely off. We should be looking at this through a model of nature, where every man has an inheritance. Now, what does productivity look like from that vantage point? Is it trying to get as much harvest as you can out of the land and as much profit? No, there's no need for that. Right? But we'll figure this out as we go. Now, if you disagree with me, let me know. All right? I don't think I know everything, but I'm pretty sure that he's using the wrong model for his analysis and his comments here. All right? In order to produce a rich harvest, limits have to be set to the field in which natural processes have to operate efficiently. This is all corporate, y'all, all corporate. There must be a concentration of efforts. See, here it is again. Corporate greed. A focusing will to keep away all interfering activity. Y'all see this? He's way off. Possession, however, need not mean binding attachment. There is a level at which the Taurinian capacity to produce fruits can operate, not in an indefinite, but rather in a multi-defined or universally operative manner. Thus, one can transcend the quote, "this is mine," end quote mentality. Y'all ever notice how these hybrid troglodyte niggers always have these lofty type of things that they say? It doesn't match up with their behavior. Have you ever noticed that? It sounds good on paper, right? It looks good to those people who have no experience with dealing with them. But for those of us who have experience dealing with them, we know that this is straight up BS and lies, right? It's trying to make themselves look good on paper, but they don't think good. I think all of us know that. All right, they have a animalistic way of thinking. You can just look at that by their history, right? You see it by their history and their culture and what they do day to day and their attitudes about people who are not hybrid troglodyte niggers. And y'all might relate that back to, I don't remember if it's Genesis chapter 9 or Genesis chapter 6, where the Most High said he would put the fear into the animals, the fear of us, man, into the animals. So one would have to conclude that a hybrid, being a hybrid, right? The chimpanzee or the orangutan, all of that is all on my YouTube channel. They also have that fear of us. And you often hear them talk about the fear they felt. All right? When dealing with us. All right? So they also have that fear. So you would expect these things, right? Is that right? That's right. Okay. So let's continue. That quote was taken from Rudd Hare, 1979, page 66 through 67. So let's move to page 77. It is remarkable how the sentiments and the imagery of Rudd Hare in this passage reflect those of the Markan parable under review. Okay, so he's saying that what this guy, Rudd Hare, said sounds like one of Mark's parables. So let's get into that. Both are designed to teach us that the Taurinian attributes, this is the attributes of the zodiac sign Taurus, the attributes of endurance and tenacity will reap enormous benefits if they are applied to the spiritual and not to the material life. He's completely wrong. It is reversed. Let me tell you, your endurance and tenacity should be directed at achieving material wealth through what? Through what? The most important thing, which is your nationality, your status, your relationship to the material world, the universe. You're the rightful heir. All energy, land, resources, all substance belongs to you. And there's no end of the supply in Mother Earth. Do y'all see that? That's what you should be pursuing. Returning to the Most High by following the Most High's instructions. And your and my ancestors agreed to the contract that we would obey or follow natural law. The Most High's instructions or commandments is natural law. Therefore, we need to follow the lectures of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. What are those lectures? The lectures are the stories that pass from one generation to the other. That information about natural law, the observations, the experimentations, etc., the maxims that were identified, the maxims that were passed down. These are the lectures or the law. Per the contract. Why? So, as the scripture says, so that we might learn to trust the Most High. So that you might understand your cultural heritage. That you might know who you are. Psalms 82:6. And your relation to the material world. Your status. That's what that's saying. Man's relation to the material world, that means your status. That's your nationality. That's your constitution. Okay, etc., etc., etc. Let's continue. It is remarkable how the sentiments and the imagery of this guy, Rudhair, in this passage reflects those of Mark. All right, Mark's parables. Both are designed to teach us that the Taurinian attributes of endurance and tenacity will reap enormous benefits. They play in you. They're trying to give you to give up substance, and substance is the subject matter of the law. They want you to abandon it. Y'all see that? For what? Abandon substance, your nationality, your status, your right as an heir. Abandon it for the enormous benefits of spiritual riches, feelings, and emotions. Y'all see how foolish this is? Once you start to understand what these documents are about, once you know who you are, Genesis chapter 2, man or woman, you start getting into this Christianity stuff. It's a hustle. It's a hustle. And it's not even a good hustle. It's only a good hustle because it's all you know. You got it at birth. You got it at birth. So you got to break out of that paradigm. But once you break out of that paradigm, you see that it's ridiculous on its face. All right? So let's continue. Some of y'all still going, keep going after that spiritual riches, right? Those feelings and emotions. And there you are, sitting there depressed and sad most of the time. Woo. Christianity is a strong drug, ain't it? All right, let's continue. Okay, if they being endurance and tenacity, are applied to the spiritual and not to the material life, and there they just picked your pocket and it's cheated you if you fell for this crap. And that the sweet delights of the world, the sweet delights. Now here they are talking about your inheritance in a negative way. What the heck? They're talking about your inheritance in a negative way. All right. I'm gonna put the call-in number in, y'all. If y'all want to call in and say something, add to the quality of the video, go right ahead. That's the call-in number. If you call in, I'm gonna pick it up and you'll be live, all right? So let's continue. So, okay, that's when they picked your pocket. All right? So let's continue. All right, the sweet delights of the world must never be allowed to deflect us from our spiritual purpose. Y'all see how they just picked your pocket? They just made what you have, they put it in a bad light, calling it sweet delights. Y'all see that? Casting it in a bad light. But while they accumulate riches galore, and you sitting out here as a pauper, when they are in fact the paupers. They didn't switch places with you. How did they do it? Through psychological means, narrative transportation. You've been hustled, had. Let's continue. The things of Taurus can be massive impediments to the life of the spirit. Yes, I agree. Why? Because if you have wealth and health, you don't need an external deity to save you. If you have wealth, you can use that to influence others and get whatever it is that you want. You do not need an external deity to save you. You only need external deities when you're poor or when you don't have enough to pay somebody to do what you need done for you. Huh? The things of Taurus, that means you being in your proper status, being able to access your estate, extract wealth, make other people wealthy, right? By commerce with them. You don't need an external deity. So of course, this is an impediment to your need for external deity. You don't need it. The things of Taurus can be massive impediments. You're damn right. To the life of the spirit, but they do not have to be. And cultivating a proper relationship with them is a vitally important spiritual task. Probably the hardest spiritual task we are called upon to undertake. Why? I've already said it many times already. When you have enough wealth, you don't need to pray. That is to beg a deity to do something for you. And all of y'all know that when all else fails, that's when y'all start praying. So if you have wealth, you'll never get to the point where you need to pray. Oh, this is very simple for y'all, right? Very simple, okay? And these people know it. Why do you think they want to keep you poor? Keep you spending above your means? Because as long as you are spending, you don't have enough to do what you really want to do. Why? Because you're working all the time. You don't even know what you want to do, right? And you're worried about paying off your debt. Okay? Why? Because you're out of your status. I hope everybody can see how all of this stuff is coming together. And I really like Taurus. Taurus is a very good zodiac sign to discuss the blessings or the tremendous wealth. Y'all know the blessings and the curses in Deuteronomy chapter 28. It's an excellent zodiac sign to discuss that. This involves nationality, right? Status. I've said that a million times, so I'm going to let that go. Buddhism, with this emphasis on aesthetic detachment and the eventual elimination of desire. Now, see, here's a problem with that. Desire is natural. Why would you attempt to eliminate something that is natural? Well, obviously, that's not healthy, right? That's like saying, I'm going to stop breathing. You have a desire to breathe, right? You also have a desire to have beautiful things around you, to smell beautiful flowers, to enjoy beautiful sights. Why would you want to get rid of that desire? Okay, so anyway, let's continue. And the eventual elimination of desire offers one way of dealing with the material world. But let me say this again, folks. The material world is a beautiful, wonderful servant and thing. It's not the material world that's the problem, it's you who is the problem, whether you are lower self, right? If you're lower self, you do lower self stuff, or like they say, niggas do nigga shit, right? So it's not the material things, it's the man or the woman and their state of mind that's the problem. All right. Okay, so that offers one way of dealing with the material world, and it's strongly connected with Taurus. So again, we see, do not confuse the abundance on Mother Earth with the mindset and the behavior of a man and a woman. The two have absolutely nothing to do with each other. For example, they talk about, well, I won't say it. Let's continue. Both the birth and the enlightenment of the Buddha are celebrated at the time of May, full moon. So the full moon in May, when the sun is in the sign of the bull. All right, so they're saying that the Buddha was born and the Buddha was enlightened in May, and May is Taurus. Y'all got that? When the sun is in the sign of Taurus, okay, they're saying Karl Marx was also a Taurus. The Taurinian Karl Marx was also acutely aware of the impediments that the lust of ownership places in the way of human spiritual and cultural development, and his celebrated dictum, quote, from each according to his ability, to each according to his need, end quote, offers an economic and political solution to the perennial problems of detachment and possession. All right, so now this is another hustle, y'all. This is another hustle. Karl Marx, is he associated with socialism? See, if you don't own the property and he and they don't own property, who owns the property? That's the question. Who owns it? The corporate nation state owns it. This is called socialism. Do y'all see it? Another hustle. They just bamboozled you. All right? They just bamboozle you into thinking that it's okay, it's spiritual, not to own anything. Christianity pushes a socialist agenda because it tells you to be happy with nothing. Well, who's going to own it? A group of elites, a corporate government, and a corporate religion. And you consent to being in bondage. Let me ask you, if you're in bondage, is anybody going to acknowledge you, respect whatever rights you think you have? No. No. You must think. Think your way out of this problem. Karl Marx, acutely aware of the impediments that the lust of ownership places in the way of human spiritual and cultural development. Now let's look at this from a different angle. We have the humans, the Han-Humans, right? The Han-Humans. These are what? The hybrids. The hybrid, Paleolithic, troglodyte, nigger, colonist. Has no culture of its own, has animal tendencies. Needs to be what? Needs to be regulated, needs to be governed by outside sources. Maybe that also has something to do with this. Y'all think about it. I'm just putting it out there. All right. They need an external guide. Y'all got me? Now, they have no ability to inherit, according to the law dictionary, right? Hybrids cannot, well, humans are monsters. Han-Uman. Y'all remember that? Go look at my community post. I put also on my Facebook, DrYasapa. Subscribe to my Facebook. Also, I'm on LinkedIn, DrYasapa All, MD, MBA. I posted the Han-Uman pictures there. Also on my Twitter. I think Twitter is Zion Law School. But y'all can get that. I also posted a little video that someone did about Han-Uman, the half man, half monkey deity. All right. Now, y'all know this whole idea of the alpha male comes from chimpanzee colonies, right? That's not something that man does. The alpha male and the beta male concept, these came from research on chimpanzees. So if you're saying you're an alpha male, or if you're calling someone else a beta male, you should stop doing that. All right. I can't tell you what to do. I'm just saying. So I take that back. Let's continue. The Jesuit geologist and mystic Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, born May 1st, 1881, expressed his Taurinian commitment to the reality and importance of, by the way, I want to stop and say something. So our ancestors, I often think about this. Our ancestors gave the hybrids, or did they give the hybrids? Our ancestors gave the hybrids sovereignty, right? In the Constitution, in the organic Constitution. Our ancestors gave the paupers, these were Europeans, but were they Moorish Europeans? Or did they include the hybrid troglodyte Paleolithic niggers? Let's assume that it included them. I've often wondered, did they act outside of nature by giving them sovereignty? Y'all understand me? For example, should a chimpanzee have sovereignty and the right to own land? I don't know. I mean, of course, that's ridiculous, right? But since they cannot inherit, since a human, Han-Uman, you take the "and" out of H-A-N-U-M-A-N. You take the "and" out and you get human, okay? Han-Uman is the Hindi deity, half man, half monkey. All right? The Neanderthal, the caveman, etc. All right? That's what we're talking about. Since it cannot inherit land, the human in the law dictionary is a monster, cannot inherit land. So I was wondering if our ancestors made a mistake, or if the hybrids edited the Constitution and gave themselves sovereignty. Should that even be in the Constitution, that they are sovereign? I mean, that's something to think about. I don't know. What do y'all think? If they edited the Bible, you better believe they edited that Constitution, and they edited everything else. Okay? You better believe that. I don't know. Something doesn't seem right about that, and maybe I'm wrong. I'm not an expert on it, right? But it just doesn't seem like our ancestors would have done that. But on the other hand, our ancestors were going off anyway, so maybe they did, right? Maybe they did. Or maybe it was an edit, all right? Maybe it was an edit. But it definitely needs to be corrected. Would y'all agree or disagree? Let me see if there are any comments. All right. Are y'all following what I'm saying to y'all? If you can follow what I'm saying, put a 1 in the comment section. I don't know if I'm being effective right now. All right. Let me see. We still got sound? All right, we're still good. Okay, let me show y'all my point. All right. So this is Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 8. Y'all read through that. This is showing that our ancestors wrote lies into the Bible. All right. They wrote lies into it. So and of course, others did the same. All right. I can show you 1,000 different translations with 1,000 different lies. Okay. All right. So let's continue. The Jesuit geologist and mystic Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, born May 1, 1881, expressed his Taurinian commitment to the reality and importance of the physical world so clearly and so passionately that he was accused of pantheism, whatever that is. I don't know what that is, y'all. And I don't have time to look it up because I'm gonna go to bed. I'm trying to get through this. Y'all look that up. Maybe I might look it up. Let me deal with it. Give me a second, okay? He was accused of pantheism. Oh, pan. Okay, that's like, okay, pan. I understand what it is. I know what pantheism is. By the heresy hunters among his fellow religionists. For Teilhard, the world was holy, a sacrament of the divine, and a means by which we can all find our way to capital G-O-D. Y'all should know that that's Dios. Dios is Zeus, etc., 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 etc. Zeus is what? JC, the Christ figure. So here we are dealing with an enchantment again. Y'all see how this stuff comes up and it's below our consciousness. It's below our consciousness because 99 out of 100 people do not realize that God means Dios, means Zeus, means Iesus means Jesus. Okay? So every time you hear a prayer, you speak it, you go through this stuff, it's an incantation, a charm. Y'all see it? It is a charm below the level of consciousness. And this is how they get you, through language, and your ignorance of the real meaning of words, your ignorance of etymology. This is why it is absolutely critical for each and every one of us Moors, the House of Yasharala, any of the nations. If you're Genesis chapter 2, it is critically important for you to get on board with me to rewrite the book of the law into ancient Ibaryath. Some of y'all call it Paleo Hebrew, and into English to correct the language. Remove the lies and deception and the incantations, etc., etc., etc. Spread the word, support this project. All right. Okay, so for Tilhard, the world was a holy sacrament of the divine, and the means by which we can all find our way to this deity, all right, to get enchanted. Y'all got that? He's directing you to be enchanted, charmed in the divine Milo hero matter, you in whom I find both seduction and strength. So matter is material things, right? Material things are seductive, and he finds strength in them. You in whom I find blandishment and virility, you who can enrich and destroy. I surrender myself to your mighty layers with faith in the heavenly influences which have sweetened and purified your waters. The virtue of Christ has passed into you. Y'all see that? The virtue of Christ is in material things. Y'all see that? You don't need a Christ figure if you're wealthy. In fact, that's the last thing you need, because the religious guy, the pastor and the reverend, they're going to be trying to get money out of you. So that's the last thing you need, right? Let's continue. Let your attractions lead me forward. Let your sap be the food that nourishes me. Let your resistance give me toughness. Let your robberies and inroads give me freedom. And finally, let your whole being lead me towards the deity head. This is on page 110 and 111. All right, so y'all go order my books. I have a lot of books. The links are in the description area. I want y'all to check out The Animals in the Bible. That book is only $10. It's full color. All right, something for you visual learners and your children. So order my books on ancient Ibaryath. All right, it'll give you a good exposure to ancient Ibaryath, the 10 Commandments, Deuteronomy chapter 28, and much more. Even the pictographs, the 911 Ibaryath Rescue book. Okay, that comes in black and white and color. So y'all go out and order these, put them in your library, give them as gifts to your children, not to your children, to your youngins, your kins, and your friends, okay? Subscribe to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course so that you can get a proper education in linguistics, in ancient Ibaryath, and so you can see how the language works, and how you've been hustled. And I have a lot of great information in there about Hebrew word studies or Ibaryath word studies. Powerful, 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 powerful. Only $10 subscription, right? That's basically free. And this class, the value of this class is very high, all right? But I'm giving it away for free. And maybe that's almost free. And maybe that's a mistake because people don't value what is free or almost free, right? They take it for granted. Okay, so we're going to continue next time with Taurus and the light. All right, so this is going to be our next starting point, Taurus and the light, okay? So I'll be back, I guess, at about maybe in about 4 or 5 hours, I'm gonna do another one. All right, I'm gonna do another one in about 4 or 5 hours. All right, Islam to the Moors, Shalom.